Hello, beautiful souls. Have you ever considered how something as simple and innate as the breath can become a powerful ally in the journey through cancer? Welcome to another episode of the Life Doula Podcast. This week, we explore the subtle yet profound healing potential of breathwork. In our episode titled Lifelines of Air, Breathwork's Gentle Impact on the Cancer Journey, I am so thrilled to introduce a new friend and our esteemed guest, Reef Liggayu, the founder of Breathwork Philippines, an author, and an experienced breathwork teacher. Reef will guide us through the transformative power of breath in fostering resilience, peace, and healing during the cancer journey. So get ready to embark on a journey of mindfulness and inner strength as we dive into this enlightening conversation. Let's give Reef a warm welcome in our podcast. Thank you for saying yes to this, Reef. Good morning ba, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you, Reef, for being
having
here.
me.
I was telling Reef earlier that I wish he wore this shirt. He wore this during the BDWC anniversary. Reef, can you show them what it says? It says pahinga. It says rest, relaxation, break, breather, and downtime. Pahinga is a Tagalog word for those who are listening to us who are not from the Philippines. It means rest. So I told Reef we should have this in the center, this shirt. So Reef, before we delve into the transformative power of breathwork, could you share with us a little bit about yourself, your life before you discovered this whole space of breathwork?
Most of my life, I was a dancer, representing the country. So,
What kind of dance is this?
hip hop, in the hip hop scene.
Not my generation. Okay.
So, in the hip hop scene, and then I let go of that career in search for something more internally fulfilling, and that I just needed also a lot of rest from being in that career and dealing with pressures and also grieving at that point. My lifestyle was filled with things that were more self-destructive. Not, of course, dance, but I drank a lot of alcohol.
Oh.
I smoked 2 packs a day of cigarettes. Yeah, and basically my mental state at that time was just not healthy. Even though so the career became a facade, and then of course the career fatigue also came in with the unsustainable mental state, and also basically just on the outside I looked healthy, and because I was a performer, I knew how to look the part and be the part, but not inside.
Internally. As you transitioned into breathwork, what were some of the pivotal moments or experiences that solidified your commitment?
Okay, so I really love teaching. Even in my dance career, I was also a coach and a choreographer. It's nice to teach arts or anything to people. And I like talking about things I like to basically just share them, other than teaching them with that intent. And then it was timely because I discovered breathwork right before, fresh lockdown. So right at the almost peak of everyone being anxious and depressed because of the lockdown, everyone was stripped off of the labels they built for themselves. So like, who am I? Those were the questions people were dealing with. And so while I was learning, even before I became an instructor, I was teaching it to my friends, and it was working. They were able to sleep, like less anxiety. They were just giving me these then testimonials, just telling me as a friend, like, yo, Paul patawag sa akin. What is this? What are you teaching? I sleep better now, or now I don't feel like smoking, or now my anxiety attacks that usually last for 5 hours is just like less, like just
Okay.
an hour or like 15 minutes, and then I'm able to deal with it more. It feels like I have regained control, reclaimed this and that. So these were the things I was receiving from just my friends, and then that's when I started just shooting free Zoom
Reels,
calls.
yeah. Oh, wow.
Not even reels.
So you were holding free Zoom call classes.
Yeah, almost every day at that time. This was lockdown, and Zoom was.
Packed.
I just learned how to do
navigate.
Zoom. But rewind a bit before everyone was in that state of anxiety and depression because of the lockdown. When I went down the rabbit hole of breathwork and discovering what it is, I was just basically learning how to hold my breath longer because I was learning how to free dive.
Free dive.
Yes. So after the dancing career, I let that go, rested a bit, found myself in environment, trying to live up to my name, which is Reef, doing more water stuff.
By the way, his name is spelled as in Reef. Reef. REEF.
Yes.
Right. So yeah.
To supplement to that trivia, it's because I'm Reef because my ate is Coral. And then I'm Reef, and then my brother's Forest, and then the youngest is Ocean.
No way.
Oceana, yeah.
Really?
My parents were scuba divers when they were just boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The affirmation that you're able to help people is what got you deeper into breathwork. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, and more internally, because it was locked down, I wasn't able to continue my free diving courses. I was searching about breath hold first, and then discovered breathwork, went down the rabbit hole, and then I found myself very angry. I think this is the core. I was very angry because the question was, why wasn't this taught in school? I could have helped myself through my own anxiety or through my own depression. Mm-hmm. And now it's working with my friends. So I was angry because I could have helped myself.
Yeah.
And my other friends who are now gone because of mental health issues as well, especially during college.
I met Reef in one of the events of a common friend who is very close to me, and she was one of my coaches. She still is. I met Reef during a portion of that event, and I realized that during their portion, there were more male attendees during that section. And I said, how coincidental that male breathwork teachers are on stage, and all of a sudden that was the only segment where we had around 15 males who attended the session. We literally counted. So I met him there, and I said to myself, I've met breathwork teachers, they're mostly females, and to hear and to see a male breathwork teacher was like something new. And because you all know this, I'm building an ecosystem for the cancer community to have access to non-medical modalities. So Reef, for those who are entirely new to the breathwork practice, could you, like you already mentioned some, could you name benefits that may help, that can help cancer patients, even survivors, and the family or love givers who take care of them? What are some of the benefits that you can think of that was already given to you as a feedback?
It brings you immediately back to present. The beautiful thing about breathing is that we have a lot of automatic systems that we're designed with, like your metabolism, your immune system, your cardiovascular system. All of these systems work together to keep you alive, basically. Yeah. But the great thing about breathing is that it's the only also automatic system that we have control over anytime. It's like, for example, if your heart rate is high up, you can't control your heart, right? You breathe slower and then the heart follows.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of that single system that we have control over, which is breathing, and these whole list of systems that also keep us alive, but we do not have control over, follow this. So it's only all about learning how to control this.
Yeah.
If this can influence all of this, it chain reacts to a lot of benefits actually: health,
Yeah.
physical, mental,
Sure.
emotional.
One of the things I've learned from Reef, and this is, I think all of us know this, but we don't know the label. In one of our conversations, you gave a very distinct definition between breathing and breath work. So I thought it's interchangeable, breathing and breath work. Can you
Sure.
just share with them your definition of breathing and breath work?
Okay, so the breathing is something you're doing right now. You don't have to think about it. While you're listening to us, you can breathe. Your body's doing it, your brain's doing it. But breath work, you have intention. You have attention to it. Basically, what breath work means is knowing how to breathe in the right context at the right time. The
Knowing
art of conscious
how
breathing.
to breathe
In the right
in the
context.
right context at the right,
right
time.
time.
I like that. I have a secret to reveal. It really literally, I find it difficult to meditate. And when I met you, I suddenly realized that the reason why I find it difficult to meditate is because I don't breathe intentionally. I mean, close my eyes, I meditate, and a lot of times it just wanders into 10 million different directions. By the way, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I just have a lot of things in my mind. But when I really help someone guide me do breathwork and meditation, I can do it. So I think the key was breathing intentionally.
Yes.
So, Reef, for the cancer community, let's break this down. If you have someone like a client who's a cancer warrior on active treatment with endless anxiety, what type of breath work would you teach them that they can use when anxiety and fear just attacks them?
I have one exercise, that's for sure. But before I go into that, it's important that every student I really make them understand that, hey, breathwork is not meditation. Breathwork is a prerequisite to meditation because meditation is a neural state.
Yeah.
You downregulate your nervous system to get in that state. And you only downregulate your nervous system by breathing. So even without the intention of meditation, you can actually go to the meditative state just by breathing.
Yeah.
Like how sportsmen would do it, sports people. So another important concept to understand before I go into the breathwork exercise is that there is no human state or emotion that is not connected to the breath. When you're angry, what changes?
Yeah. Parang you
When you're
deep
afraid.
breather and faster. Huh?
Yeah, it's so linked to your nervous system. Like, for example, if you get shocked, what do? It's an inhale because your nervous system wants to brace itself.
Ooh, interesting.
It needs to apply pressure para tumigas yung katawan mo. So you have a sturdier body and your mind is more alert. You need to inhale. But then when it's relief, a moment of relief, you sigh.
Exhale. Okay.
Right? That's why it's called sigh of relief. That's how connected our breathing and nervous system is. So, nervous system we don't have control over. It's a metric. Breathing we have control over. And we know that if we slow it down, if we become conscious with it, we downregulate our nervous system. Or sometimes we need to upregulate it as well because sometimes we're groggy, afternoon, siesta time. We can use breathing as well to bring
our energy
to upregulate
up.
now.
Yeah.
So now you have control. You've reclaimed the headquarters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of being managed by your brain. So now your headquarters can be overcome by anxiety, and you don't know how to do it. People tell you meditate, but how do I do that?
Yeah.
Sometimes I grow more anxious when I meditate.
Or I cannot
I cannot meditate.
meditate. Yeah.
So you intentionally breathe slower. Here it is, the exercise itself.
Pay attention.
Number one is just be conscious first. No counting, no anything that we see on Instagram. Just be conscious. And that itself can be very powerful already for you. If you do that,
Be conscious of your current state.
of
Is
your
that what-
breathing.
Of your breathing.
Because some people, when you're anxious, you don't even have the capacity to know what your state is in,
Yeah.
right? Because you're just in a panic state. You can't even think.
Yeah.
But because putting your attention to your breathing is such a simple task, it's easy for your anxious mind to go to it. Now, the next challenge is when you become conscious about your breathing, the next challenge is to stay in it.
Okay.
So I usually go through this with my students who are dealing with anxiety. You just put your attention to that air coming in and air coming out.
Okay.
That's it. It's a cycle that you want to stay in. So every time your mind wanders off, you become gentle with just bringing it back to the cycle of air
So the
coming in
inhale, exhale cycle.
and exhale.
So this is when we hear teachers say, do a
Take a
deep
deep breath in,
inhale, yeah, and exhale.
and then slowly exhale.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason why you also want to slow it down so you can really anchor your attention. Our brains are made to, think.
Go-
So
yeah.
it's really we have to accept that. A lot of people get angry or frustrated when they get distracted, which is fine. We're actually, by doing that, the staying in this simple cycle and being gentle with returning our attention whenever the mind wanders off, that's the more important training.
Okay.
Because you become kinder to yourself, right? You become kinder to yourself because you don't get mad at your own thinking.
Yeah.
You want to accept your own thinking. At that state, you're grounding yourself. You're becoming more honest with who you are at that point in time. And you're just using breathing as a tool
Okay.
to be like your thermometer. Like, hey, where are we at?
Yeah.
Okay, we're here. Sige, let's check in. Let's go here.
So you accept that you're anxious or you're fearful, and you continuously become aware of your breathing. Okay.
And then here's our best friend now.
Yeah.
It's called the physiological sigh.
And the short term is F5.
Yes.
For those who are, into computers and all of that.
Yeah, F5.
So this is F5.
Maybe the earlier generations wouldn't know what F5 is.
Yeah.
They might just know scroll down to buffer. But F5 is basically this / aka physiological sigh. You basically do a double inhale. This is when you get triggered or when you are code red. Okay? This is a reset button for your brain and body. You basically do a double inhale. First of which, second, you squeeze another one. And then you sigh it out. So double inhale, like a double jump, and then pause right there, and then exhale.
Let's do it.
The F5,
F5.
Double
or
inhale, pause,
the
sigh.
physiological breathing.
physiological sigh.
Sigh. Okay.
Okay, here we
let's
go.
do it.
Lengthen up your spine, relax your shoulders, drop them down. Inhale first, squeeze one and hold, and sigh it out. One more time, in, squeeze one and hold, and sigh it out. Slower and deeper, go in, squeeze one and hold, and sigh it out. Now relax the breathing, slow it down first. How you feel right now? If you feel a bit lightheaded or
Lightheaded.
a bit,
Yeah.
that's the intention.
And
Just a
some
bit.
neuropathic feelings on my finger.
Yeah, just not too much of this.
Yeah.
We just need to go to this state to offload a lot of CO2, which is responsible for our stress. So we just offloaded that, and now we return to normal breathing or even slow breathing.
Okay.
I usually tell my students, breathe how your body wants to breathe after the F5.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah.
And it really comes very handy. Because when I first learned about this, immediately the next day, before I got up of bed, I was doing the F5 already. So people who are undergoing treatment, a couple of days before the treatment, anxiety would just come in the space. Sometimes you don't even know exactly what the reason is. So this is something you can do. Now, this is an interesting conversation I had with you earlier. Breath work can cause weight loss. I mean, there are other things you need to do, but can we share with our cancer survivors who
Sure.
are getting exasperated, frustrated that there's only so much they can do to exercise, that breath work can help them? And can you tell me how you discovered this for yourself?
I didn't discover it for myself. Scientists discovered it.
Okay. But you applied it
I
to
applied
your
it.
situation?
Yeah. Most of the papers on this was by Dr. Patrick McEwen, founder of Oxygen Advantage.
Oxygen advantage.
That's where the top athletes now go, so they can enhance their performance and health. Of course, this cannot replace exercise,
True.
just as no amount of breath work will make you stop needing sleep. You know, the concept revolves around: one, you exhale fat; two, you can stimulate the effects of through physiological changes. You oxygenate your blood more, making you convert more energy,
Okay.
so less cravings. That's for sure. Less cravings. You're converting more nutrients from what you eat because you're promoting everything. The more oxygenated your blood is, which is controlled by your breathing. I forgot the name of the doctor who said this, but he says where blood flows, health goes. And now, since there's good circulation, of course you still have to move, at least walk. You can
Yes.
actually enhance that with just
Breath work.
breath work. Well, for one, to really promote this, to promote your digestion, you always want to breathe through your diaphragm, because it's your main breathing muscle. When you inhale, it contracts like this.
Okay.
So it kind of massages your gut. With or without food, you're promoting metabolism.
Wow.
And then when you
Interesting.
exhale, it just goes back. Instead of, when you're a chest breather, you're promoting your stress because it's here. Especially if you're a mouth breather, you tend to breathe more through your chest if you breathe through your mouth,
Okay.
which is unhealthy
Okay.
if it's habitual.
Okay.
The four things for optimal breathing to remember is that: one, you need to breathe through your nose. Second, you want to breathe through your belly. Like a baby, they never breathe through their chest because our original design is breathing through the belly. Third is that we want to breathe slower than our normal, because if you breathe fast, it's breathing is like sound. It's like frequency.
Okay.
As opposed to, Zen masters are super good at this. It's almost like they're not breathing at all, but they're so centered, they're calm, even if, the environment is chaotic, they can be wise. So you can actually imitate that with your breathing, so you can think more and be your smarter self and not your panicked
Self.
panicking self, right? So in terms of weight loss, you always want to breathe through your belly.
Okay.
You don't want to slouch anymore, because that makes you want to breathe through your mouth and through your chest. So belly breathing, nose breathing, slower breaths. Because one myth is that take a deep breath looks like this. No, deep means depth, right? So just literally breathe
Up to
deep.
here,
Yeah. Breathe deep. It doesn't mean go 100% breathing capacity.
Okay.
It just says here. Yeah. So, and another myth is that if you need to breathe more to get more oxygen. The whole concept of the weight loss is the answer to this myth, which is the less you breathe is actually more optimal for your health. Yeah.
No wonder I see athletes, like people who weight lift, that they really pause. And I guess it's when they
Rinse.
really like breathe properly before they lift anything, right? And they can sustain carrying heavier weights because of that.
Yes. A good concept to think about with that example is that, just like a tire, the pressure is coming from the inside. That's why you put air from the inside. Same thing. If there's pressure coming from the inside, you're protecting your spine. The whole weight lift belt, the design of that is to protect your spine because you're lifting heavier weights. You're supposed to protect your spine.
Yeah.
But then that pressure, which is good still, but it's not natural.
Okay.
So what if you don't have a weightlifting belt? The pressure is coming from external. It's compressing from outside in. But the design of the body is that pressure should come from the
within.
inside out. It's called intra-abdominal pressure. I'm sure gym geeks would know that. But yeah, if you work out your diaphragm and if you breathe properly, you can enhance your performance enhancing practices.
And this was our conversation because Reef said you had an injury that prevented you from doing your sports. You want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. I never go to the gym. I've never went. I only go if I have a client to teach breathing there. But I don't lift. I only play a lot of sports like jiu-jitsu, surf, free diving, a lot of sports basically.
So a lot of physical activity.
A lot of physical activity still. And then now I got injured and I'm applying my own program, which is this whole thing we're talking about, weight loss. From training every day, and then I stopped because I had a ligament strain. Grateful that it's not a ligament tear. It was a ligament strain. I couldn't even walk, but then I'm still losing weight because I'm practicing my breathing, simulating the right breathwork exercises at the right time, especially when I have cravings. Because when you're injured, you get depressed. I can't move like last week or yesterday or last month, and I feel like I'm worthless. Thoughts like that enter, and then other than that, that mental aspect, the emotional aspect is also the physical. Of course, you don't move. Your body is like,
stagnant.
Like,
yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
But of course, I wanted to focus on healing this first. So, same thing with doing the breath work for better oxygenation, because more oxygen in the blood, the better the healing. And actually, because of that, oxygenating your blood, the weight loss thing is just a side effect.
Oh.
That's just the side effect of having more oxygenated blood.
And despite the fact that because of your injury, you've replaced your usual sports with more intentional, breath work. You did not gain weight because you've managed your cravings.
Yes.
And you even lost weight.
Yeah, I've lost weight too. It still gets boring because, I'm used to moving.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
And if because I'm subdued to just breath work, it's still hard work.
Yeah.
Because it's repetitive. And I can't do jiu-jitsu anymore, not yet. And, the impatient part of me is like, or at least the playful child in me wants to get on the mats already and,
To the cancer survivors out there who are feeling exasperated because there's only so much you can do. A little of something is better than nothing. And breath work may not be the end all and be all of your weight loss, but it will help. So, no excuses. Would you recommend to integrate into the day, the morning, or the evening, a time that they can do breath work for themselves? This is really their me time, so they can just have enough time to ground themselves and literally be out of that space.
You can always do the F5.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always do the F5. You can practice 24/7 consciously breathing. As much as you can. Of course, you can't consciously breathe all of your breaths per day. But as much as you can, more conscious breaths per day.
So it's really intentional pauses
Intentional pauses.
that they can do.
Or intentional breaths.
All throughout the day.
All throughout the day. Because the more conscious you are, the more you don't realize you're super tired until you're already crashing.
Yeah.
But when you're conscious about your breathing, it's like okay, energy check. Where are we at?
So it's like refilling.
Checkpoint.
Every single time.
Yeah. It's like mapping out your energy journey for the day.
Which is really important because the patient may have some downtimes, like they can rest, but the tendency of the love givers is just to keep on going, right? So this is a good practice. Reef, as you continue to inspire many people, even outside the cancer community, through Breathwork Philippines, I heard you say this, and this is really why I chose to connect with you. I heard you talk about a dream.
Thank you.
And I kinda, di naman nakialam, but I said, why are you waiting for 10 years for this dream to happen, right? Can you tell them about your long-term vision for breathwork?
Okay. Problem first. The problem is most of people our age, or even the
You mean your age?
my age and older, are breathing wrong. We think that if we take a bigger breath, that means we get more oxygen, but it actually is the opposite. That's what's happening to your blood. We think that deep breathing is,
Yeah.
but actually here, people think you're supposed to breathe through your mouth. People think you're supposed to breathe through your chest, but we were not taught how to breathe. So, of course, starting young is the whole idea of it. So my dream is to have breath work to be normal in schools and in clinics before pharma in clinics. Because a lot of clinics, especially here in the Philippines, they prescribe immediately pharma pills that have side effects. Maybe breathwork can be first. Maybe nutrition can be first. Just as we can prescribe other holistic forms of health practices. Breathwork first to reset students when they're in class. What if it's in the next class and they're still carrying something? Let's reset with breathwork. It's quick, it's easy. You don't have to carry a yoga mat.
It's free.
It's
As
free.
you always say it.
Yeah, it's free once you learn it. So imagine a more consciously breathing group or generation. They might be even more regulated than us,
Yeah.
who are deeply anxious.
Yeah, especially the kids who go through a lot, pressure, bullying, and all of that stuff. No wonder at some point in their lives they resort to other unhealthy
Yes.
practices. I totally, really, really admired this vision. Almost, it was so strong that I was even telling Reef, why wait for 10 years? It's something that we don't have to lobby to the Senate. There are homeschool, communities and schools that are value-based, and they are accredited by Department of Education. And while they integrate passion and other stuff, this can very well be tucked in the curriculum, right, of students.
Yeah.
And I hope
That is the dream.
you get there sooner than 10 years, because I think the world needs
No, I will.
this
We will.
so much.
We will.
Let's not wait for people to get sick before they, as you said,
Yes.
learn how to do this. I mentioned earlier that Reef is an author. Do you want to share with our audience how they can have access
thank you.
to your book?
Okay, so we wrote a book. It's called The Daily Breath. It's basically like The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, but this one has breath work. So it's a 5-minute read per day, 366 pages, 1 page per day, where it starts with a quote and then a body to internalize the quote, and then the breath work to enhance it, and then a bit of the science, what happens to your body because of that breath work that you did.
Nice.
And then a lasting question.
Okay.
So you have something to think about or meditate upon throughout your day. So that's 1 page.
Great.
So
And
366
how can they
of them.
access this? How can they, because I've been lobbying to him to have this printed. How can they buy the book? It's an ebook, actually.
I'm actually working on a 2025 version already, but you can access it in breathworkphilippines.com/book.
And it's actually fairly easy, except that I'm part of the older generation. And while I have, a Kindle and an iPad, I still sometimes or most of the time prefer
the
a
same.
book, right? So Breathwork Philippines is the company that you founded.
Yes.
And where do you see it spanning in the next couple of years?
I see it as the Breathwork Center pioneering the whole movement in the Philippines and beyond. We have an umbrella. We have an academy already of instructors, not just me. And we have different arms. One is for athletic performance. One is for mental health. One is for weight loss,
Cancer
jawline. Of course, yeah. The cancer community, communities of different kinds. Because right now I'm teaching a lot. Yes, corporations too.
I think it's something that offices would need. Such a great dream, such a great vision. Can you tell our audience, Reef, how they can get in touch with you if they need a breathwork teacher?
We're mostly active in Instagram, Breathwork PH. Chat us at breathworkphilippines.com. But mostly you can contact me on reef@breathworkphilippines.com. That's my email.
As we wrap up today's enlightening episode of the Life Doula Podcast, we've journeyed through the gentle yet powerful world of breathwork with Reef Liggayu. Here are 3 key takeaways from our conversation. Empowering healing through breath. Breathwork offers a simple yet profound way to support emotional and physical well-being, especially during challenging times like a cancer journey. By focusing on our breath, we find calm and resilience in the face of stress and even pain. It's a support for everyone involved, whether you are living with cancer, a survivor, or a love giver. Breathwork provides a transformative tool for managing anxiety, enhancing emotional balance, and promoting healing for all the people involved. And the favorite part, a vision for the future. Reef's inspiring vision for breathwork extends beyond individual healing. He envisions a widespread embrace of this practice, a movement, as he called, creating communities that are more connected and mindful and supportive of each other's healing journeys. So we invite you to integrate breathwork into your daily routine. As Reef said, a few minutes each day to connect with your breath, to be conscious, allowing it to guide you toward a space of peace and mindfulness. So Reef, again, thank you so much. Thank you also to our audience for joining us in this episode. Until next time, may you breathe deeply and live fully.